Hey everybody. So we're kind of wrapping up the review for the midterm. Hopefully you all have been keeping up with the assignments and finding that the assignment questions online happen to be the midterm questions. If you haven't figured that out yet, I would encourage you to go do those questions, write down your work, ask for help, all of those things, so that when you go back and take your test, you have all the information you need to do really well. Anyway, so the last couple of topics, we talked about trig functions, we talked about inverse trig functions, we talked about law of sines, law of cosines. Sorry, I drew a blank. So the last thing that's really review is the things about paychecks and about interest. So I'm going to do those in two separate videos. So you can do a few problems at a time. And then there are the questions about graphs. So the graph questions probably won't come up until after spring break. But then you'll be all set to hop on and do your midterm, which I'll probably do in some small pieces as well. So anyway, I want to jump in here and get looking at how to calculate gross pay and net pay. So first thing, I want to put a little note up here at the top. Typically when you're dealing with salary or with paychecks, there's a few time frames that you're dealing with. So we need to know that a year is 365 days. A year is also 52 weeks or 12 months. So we're going to be using those numbers to do some calculations. So our first question says Emily earns $12.85 per hour and works 28 hours per week. What is her gross paycheck each week? So gross means before taxes. So gross before taxes. So literally just how much money does Emily earn working 28 hours per week for $12.85 an hour? So if you all are pretty good with this already, this may seem a little confusing. But I'm noticing some people are not always sure whether to multiply or divide. So I wanted to show you a little trick that hopefully will help. This was something I learned in science years ago, and it has proven very helpful throughout the years trying to remember whether I should multiply or divide. So Emily earns $12.85 per hour. So I'm going to set that up as a fraction. $12.85. So my units on the top are dollars. Then I'm going to set it up like this, and she earns $12.85 in 1 hour. Okay, so 1 hour, $12.85. Now, I want this to come out to dollars per week because it says paycheck each week. So what I want my end result to be here is dollars per week. Okay, so watch what I'm going to do. I am going to figure out the number of hours in a week because I want to cancel out those hours and be left with weeks on the bottom. Now I know on the bottom because it's per week. So I'm going to put per or in 1 week on the bottom because I want my result to come out dollars per week. That means dollars is going to be on the top and in my result, and week is going to be on the bottom. So this is what I want. I want my end result to be dollars per week. So in order to accomplish that, I have to get rid of the hours. So my week goes on the bottom. How many hours in this case is a week equal to? Well, Emily works 28 hours per week. So I'm going to put that here, 28 hours in 1 week. So she makes $12.85 in 1 hour, and she works 28 hours in 1 week. Now I multiply. So I'm going to do $12.85 times 28, and that gives me $359.80. And then if you look, remember that you can cancel things out if something is on the top of one fraction and the bottom of another. So I'm going to cancel out the hours. I'm literally going to cancel out the units like we do numbers in a fraction. So 1285 times 28 gives me $359.80 in dollars. And then on the bottom, I'm left with 1 week. So now I can say that her weekly paycheck is $359.80 per week. So like I said, this method might seem a little complicated if you are already doing fine figuring out what to multiply. But if you're having a hard time figuring out whether multiply or divide, it might help you to think of what you want your answer to look like and figure out how to deal with the units. So let's look at another example. What would be Emily's annual pay? Well, annual means in a year. So what I want my answer to look like is dollars per year. Okay, so I know her weekly paycheck is $359.80 for 1 week. And so now I've got to get years on the bottom. So 1 year, and I want weeks to go up here so they cancel out. Well, if I look back at my little list up here, 52 weeks is 1 year. Okay, so now I've got weeks and weeks that can cancel out. And this way we're always multiplying the two fractions. So if I multiply $359.80 times 52, I get $18,709.60. So her annual paycheck would be $18,709.60 per year. All right, so let's go down here to number 2. Daniel earns a salary of $58,725. What is his gross pay if he is paid weekly? So again, gross pay is before taxes. He is paid weekly. A salary implies a year. So we're looking at the conversion between a year and weeks. So we want to know gross pay weekly. So we want our answer to be dollars per week. All right, so I know his salary is $58,725 per year. And now I've got to get, I know I want weeks to be on the bottom, and I want years to be up here. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to abbreviate YR for year. So 1 year in this case is 52 weeks. So in this case, my years would cancel out and I end up with a division problem. 58,725 divided by 52 weeks, because if we multiply these two fractions, the 52 is on the bottom, the 58,725 is on the top. And what that means is that his monthly paycheck would be $48,93.70, or I'm sorry, not his monthly paycheck. I apologize. Haven't gotten there yet. $1129.33. So his weekly paycheck would be $1129.33 per week. Okay, so now I can take that same concept, and this time I want to know how much if he were paid monthly. So we want to know dollars per month. So my answer is going to be in dollars per month. So I just got the per week here, and it's very tempting to say, well, I'm going to multiply by 4 because there's 4 weeks in a month. But anybody who gets a weekly paycheck knows that it's very exciting those months where you get an extra 5th paycheck. So there's not always 5 weeks in a year or in a month. So we're actually going to go back to what we know for sure, and that is that there are 12 months in a year. So I'm going to take his yearly pay, and that's for 1 year. I want the years to go away, so that means that 1 year is going to be on the top. And I want months to end up in my answer. So 1 year is the same as 12 months. So my years cancel out, and I end up with 58,725 on the top. And this time 12 is on the bottom, and that's where that 48,93.75 comes in. So his monthly paycheck then would be 48,93.75 per month. All right, last one. Carl earns $23.65 for his gross monthly pay. So that means before taxes are taken out. The following deductions are taken from his paycheck. To deduct something means to take it out. We take things out of paychecks by subtracting them. What will his net paycheck be? So net means after all of the deductions. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to recognize that you can only subtract money from money. So his paycheck is $23.65. So his net pay is going to be equal to his gross pay minus the deductions, right? So the thing is, I can't subtract a percentage. I can subtract dollars, but I can't subtract a percentage. When you are adding and subtracting things, they have to be in the same units. Everything has to be feet, everything has to be dollars, everything has to be seconds. Otherwise, you can't add them together. So I have to change all these percentages to dollars. So here's how we do that. Some of you, again, are very good at moving the decimal. If you successfully move the decimal every single time when you do a percentage, keep it up, keep doing it your way. If not, remember that you can always change a percent to a decimal by dividing by 100 every single time. Remember, percent means for each 100 or per 100. Okay? So we can actually go ahead and divide all these percentages by 100. So to figure out how much federal income tax they're going to take from Carl's paycheck, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little F for federal so I remember what I'm doing. And I'm going to take 12.8 and divide it by 100. And then whatever I get, I'm going to multiply it by Carl's paycheck, $23.65. So when we put that in our calculator, we find that the deduction for federal income tax is $302.72. It's usually your biggest deduction in your paycheck is the federal income tax. Okay, so that's taken care of. We did that. Now I want to do state income tax. So I'm going to label that too. So the state income tax is 2.9. So once again, 2.9 divided by 100, still times his paycheck, because all of these are percentages of Carl's paycheck. All right, so when I do that math, I get $68.59. So now the state income tax is done. Medicare tax. I'm going to put a big M right there for Medicare tax. And that will be 1.7 divided by 100 times, again, 2365. And if we put that in our calculator, we get $40 and approximately 21 cents. There's a little bit of rounding that has to happen here. So Medicare tax is done. Now we have health insurance. Notice health insurance is already dollars. So I'm not going to do any converting. I want to include that with my deductions, but I don't have to do anything here. I can just say that his health insurance is $286. And then the last thing is his retirement. So here's an R for retirement. Once again, convert my decimal or my percent to a decimal, multiply by his paycheck. And that gives me the total for retirement of $82.78. So these are each of Carl's individual deductions. But now we need to put them all together because his net pay, I'm going to bring this back down here. All right, so his net equals his gross minus deductions. So I don't know what the net is, but I know his gross pay is $23.65. If I add up all of these deductions, I get $780.37. So I'm going to subtract that, $780.37. And I find that Carl's total net pay is going to be $1,584.63. Okay, so there are some practice problems to do online associated with these notes. And then there is a second video dealing just with interest problems.